They preach sacrifice while sleeping on silk. Behind the black turban and revolutionary speeches lies an empire that would make oligarchs blush. Private jets to Paris, London penthouses, and gold-trimmed mansions, all while his people starve. This is the hidden fortune of Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, a fortune so massive it reportedly left even Donald Trump speechless. The $200 billion religious empire hidden in plain sight. In 1989, when Khamenei became supreme leader, he inherited more than just a title. He gained control of an organization called Setad, the execution of Imam Khomeini's order. On paper, it was created to manage abandoned properties after the 1979 revolution. In practice, it became something else entirely.
أخیراً رئیس جمهور آمریکا زبان به تهدید گشوده ما رو تهدید هم تهدید میکنه هم از ملت ایران صریحاً میخواد که بیایید تسلیم من بشید.
Setad started by selling off homes and land left behind by those who fled Iran. Simple enough. But over the decades, it expanded into telecommunications, real estate, oil, pharmaceuticals, and finance. Today, it operates like a massive corporate conglomerate, except it answers to no one but Khamenei himself, not parliament, not the judiciary, not even Iran's president. A 2013 Reuters investigation spent 6 months tracking Setad's holdings. They estimated the organization controlled assets worth $95 billion. U.S. officials later claimed the figure was closer to $200 billion. The exact number remains unclear because Setad operates entirely outside public oversight. No audits, no transparency, no taxes. Think about that for a moment. An organization larger than Iran's annual oil exports, controlled by one man with zero accountability. Setad owns office towers in Tehran, vast agricultural lands, stakes in major banks, and shares in Iran's largest telecom providers. It runs pharmaceutical companies through subsidiaries like Barakat Group. It even imports cars. Renaults rolled into Iran under Setad contracts, while ordinary citizens waited months for basic goods. The structure is designed for invisibility. Properties are registered under shell companies. Business dealings happen through intermediaries. Revenue flows directly to Khamenei's office, bypassing the national budget entirely. When Western sanctions targeted Setad in 2013, the organization simply shifted assets through new fronts and continued operating. Meanwhile, 75% of Iranians live below the poverty line. Inflation exceeds 40%. Families ration meat and rice. Power outages are routine. Water shortages plague entire cities. The gap between the ruling elite and ordinary citizens has never been wider. Setad doesn't fund public welfare. It funds loyalty. Revolutionary Guard commanders receive contracts. Loyal clerics get positions. Political allies gain access to monopolies. The organization exists not to serve the people, but to consolidate power and generate wealth for those at the top. The Iranian government calls it a charitable foundation. International investigators call it a financial empire. Either way, it's the backbone of Khamenei's wealth, and it's been hiding in plain sight for over 3 decades. That $200 billion didn't appear overnight. It was built piece by piece, seized property by seized property. And the methods used to build it reveal a system designed for extraction, from seized homes to corporate monopolies. The fortune started with confiscation. After the 1979 revolution, thousands of Iranians fled the country. Political dissidents, wealthy businessmen, religious minorities. They left behind homes, shops, factories, and land. The new government declared these properties abandoned and handed them to Setad. Baha'is were particularly targeted. Iran's largest non-Muslim minority, they owned substantial real estate and businesses. The government seized it all under the justification that Baha'is were heretics. No compensation, no legal recourse. Setad simply took ownership and began selling or leasing the properties for profit. Over time, this tactic became systematic. If someone fled Iran or fell out of political favor, their assets were fair game. Setad accumulated thousands of properties, urban apartment buildings, commercial shops, vast agricultural farms. Each seizure added to the empire's value. But property was just the foundation. Setad moved into telecommunications, acquiring stakes in major telecom providers. It entered pharmaceuticals through the Barakat Group, which produces generic drugs and medical supplies. It invested in oil infrastructure, construction firms, and financial institutions. By the 2000s, Setad wasn't just managing seized assets, it was running a diversified corporate portfolio worth tens of billions. Then there's the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Originally a military force, the IRGC evolved into an economic powerhouse. At its center sits Khatam al-Anbiya, a construction conglomerate that builds highways, dams, metro systems, and energy projects across Iran. Here's how it works. The government announces a major infrastructure project. Khatam al-Anbiya wins the contract without competitive bidding. The justification is always national security or efficiency. In reality, it's a system designed to funnel billions to IRGC commanders and their networks. These generals don't just build roads. They control logistics, import-export operations, and smuggling routes. Fuel smuggling alone generates massive off-the-books revenue. Sanctioned goods flow through IRGC-controlled channels, bypassing official oversight entirely. The profits don't appear in government budgets. They disappear into private accounts and elite networks. Your average government contract goes through procurement processes, audits, public scrutiny. Not here. Both Setad and the IRGC operate as parallel economies, untouchable, unregulated, and incredibly profitable. They've turned post-revolution chaos into a wealth generation machine that's been running for over 4 decades. So that's how the wealth was accumulated. But the real question is, where does all that money actually go? The answer is visible from satellite imagery in northern Tehran. The palace versus poverty. The official story is simple. Khamenei lives modestly in a compound on Palestine Street in Tehran. He shares the space with his wife, keeps basic furnishings, and reportedly borrows cash from his guards when he's short on money. His children live in rented houses. The image is one of clerical humility and revolutionary austerity. The reality looks different. Reports suggest access to 6 palaces, 8 planes, 5 helicopters, and over 1,000 cars. A security detail of 10,000 bodyguards. Luxury items including canes allegedly worth over $1 million. These aren't the possessions of someone borrowing lunch money. Northern Tehran tells the rest of the story. This is where Iran's elite live, in heavily guarded estates hidden behind high walls and dense foliage. The mansions feature indoor pools, gold-trimmed hallways, Persian marble flooring, and private elevators. Some have helipads. Others include underground bunkers for security purposes. These properties aren't registered under personal names. They're held by religious foundations, charitable trusts, or shell companies. The anonymity provides both legal protection and public deniability. Satellite imagery and whistleblower accounts confirm these estates are in regular private use by top clerics and their families. The contrast is geographic. These compounds exist just kilometers away from neighborhoods where families live in cramped apartments, endure daily power outages, and ration water. Inflation officially exceeds 40%, though real purchasing power has fallen even further. Basic goods, meat, rice, medicine, are increasingly unaffordable for ordinary Iranians. You can drive from a mansion with Italian marble to an apartment block without running water in 15 minutes. The regime justifies this disparity by claiming state properties are used for official functions or dignitaries. But the lifestyle gap is impossible to ignore. While average citizens queue for subsidized bread, the elite travel by private helicopter between secured estates. While families struggle with electricity shortages, luxury compounds run on private generators. This isn't about wealth existing in a vacuum. It's about wealth flourishing while the majority suffers under economic collapse. The same sanctions that devastate ordinary Iranians barely touch the elite networks. Setad remains profitable. IRGC construction contracts continue. The palaces stay powered. 2 Irans exist simultaneously. But the wealth doesn't stop with Khamenei. It flows through 6 people who never hold office, never give interviews, yet control billions across 3 continents. The family empire. Khamenei has 6 children. Officially, they keep low profiles and avoid government positions. Unofficially, they control assets worth billions, spread across multiple countries and industries. His sons, Mojtaba, Masoud, and Maysam, are the most visible players. Mojtaba, the second son, is widely considered the most powerful. He holds no official title but reportedly influences key appointments within the Revolutionary Guard and clerical establishment. His wealth includes vast landholdings near Mashhad, one of Iran's holiest cities. One report claimed he owns $300 million in gold alone. Whether stored domestically or offshore remains unclear, but the figure suggests access to resources far beyond any clerical salary. Masoud and Maysam operate more quietly. They're tied to logistics companies, import-export businesses, and ventures that benefit from government connections without direct state employment. The structure is deliberate, close enough to benefit from power, distant enough to avoid scrutiny. The daughters, Bashra and Hoda, also control significant assets. Reports link them to boutiques, real estate investments, and business interests that operate under proxy names or family trusts. The exact scale is difficult to verify, but the pattern is consistent. Wealth without official income sources. The family's assets aren't confined to Iran. Offshore accounts have been identified in the UAE, Venezuela, various African nations, France, and the UK. These accounts allow the Khameneis to move money beyond the reach of sanctions, store wealth in stable currencies, and invest in international markets. Private jets facilitate travel between Iran and foreign destinations, medical trips, business meetings, or simply vacations. Some family members reportedly own horses, luxury vehicles, and properties that would be impossible to acquire on a government salary. The funding comes from monopolies, no-bid contracts, and business networks connected to CETAD or the IRGC. Loyalty to the supreme leader translates into economic access. Family connection amplifies it. The hypocrisy is straightforward. While Khamenei publicly condemns materialism and Western decadence, his children live like international elites. They attend foreign universities, hold dual passports, and post photos from luxury destinations, at least until security teams take the posts down to avoid public backlash. Your average Iranian can't leave the country without extensive paperwork. The supreme leader's children fly private. That's the family structure inside Iran. But their wealth doesn't stay inside Iran's borders. Follow the private jets, and you'll find a network stretching from London to Dubai, the global luxury network. While leading chants of death to the West, Iran's elite are quietly buying some of Europe's most expensive real estate. Investigative reports and leaked documents link members of Khamenei's inner circle to high-end properties in London, Geneva, Paris, and Vienna. The London properties are particularly notable. Luxury flats in Kensington and Mayfair, neighborhoods where apartments routinely sell for millions of pounds. These aren't registered under the names of Iranian officials. They're held through shell companies, offshore trusts, or distant relatives with foreign passports. The ownership structures are deliberately complex, designed to obscure any direct connection to Tehran. Geneva and Paris serve similar purposes. Stable banking systems, legal protections, and proximity to elite medical care make these cities ideal for storing wealth and maintaining escape routes. Some properties function as safe havens in case of political instability. Others are simply investments, appreciating quietly while Iran's domestic economy collapses. The travel is equally revealing. Private jets, Gulfstreams, and bombardiers transport regime-connected families to Europe and Asia. They use diplomatic clearances to move through restricted airspaces without standard customs checks. The stated reasons are official business or medical treatment. The reality often includes luxury shopping in Dubai and Istanbul, cities known for high-end retail and discreet banking. Inside these homes and during these trips, the wardrobe tells its own story. Custom-tailored Armani suits, Rolex watches, Italian leather shoes, Chanel accessories. These aren't knockoffs purchased on Tehran's black market. They're authentic luxury goods, either bought abroad or smuggled in through diplomatic pouches. The regime bans most luxury imports for ordinary citizens, citing sanctions and Islamic values. The elite always find exceptions. Education follows the same pattern. Khamenei's grandchildren and those of his inner circle attend Western universities, Harvard, institutions in London, Canadian schools. Some hold U.S. green cards or Canadian passports, giving them mobility and legal status unavailable to average Iranians. The regime jails citizens for dual nationality and foreign affiliations. Meanwhile, its own families maintain exactly those connections. The hypocrisy isn't subtle. Parents who publicly condemn Western influence send their children to Western schools. Officials who denounce materialism shop on Bond Street. Leaders who claim to represent the oppressed own penthouses in Europe's wealthiest districts. So the wealth exists, the lifestyle exists, the hypocrisy is documented, which raises the obvious question: why has no one stopped them? The answer lies in a system specifically designed to prevent accountability: the untouchable elite. The wealth exists because the system protects it. Khamenei holds absolute authority over every major institution in Iran: the military, judiciary, media, and religious establishment. This isn't theoretical power, it's structural. He appoints judges, approves laws, controls prosecutions, and determines what gets investigated. Corruption cases only move forward when politically convenient. Whistleblowers are silenced, imprisoned, or worse. Investigative journalism doesn't exist when it comes to the top tier. The media operates under strict censorship, and criticism of the supreme leader is treated as both political treason and religious heresy. That religious dimension makes accountability nearly impossible. The regime argues that Khamenei is divinely guided, chosen by God to lead the Islamic Republic. Challenging his wealth or lifestyle isn't just questioning a politician. It's seen as challenging divine authority. This framing shuts down dissent before it starts. Then there are the bonyads, religious charities that function as shadow governments. The largest, Astan Quds Razavi, manages the shrine of Imam Reza in Mashhad. It also controls billions in assets: real estate, agriculture, manufacturing, media outlets. It pays no taxes and answers only to the supreme leader. Executives are appointed based on loyalty, not competence. These organizations operate entirely outside government oversight, funneling wealth to insiders while maintaining a facade of religious charity. Internationally, the elite use sophisticated financial networks to move and protect their wealth. Hawala systems, informal money transfers common across the Middle East, allow untraceable transactions. Front companies registered in the UAE, Turkey, and Malaysia provide legal cover for offshore accounts. Diplomatic pouches bypass customs, smuggling luxury goods and documents without inspection. When major leaks do occur, nothing happens. The Panama Papers and Swiss leaks exposed Iranian officials with offshore accounts and hidden assets. The revelations were documented, verified, and widely reported. Yet no prosecutions followed. No assets were seized. The system simply absorbed the exposure and continued operating. There's no independent court to challenge the supreme leader, no free press to investigate his network, no political opposition with real power. The IRGC ensures military loyalty. The bonyads ensure economic control. Religious justification ensures ideological cover. The result is a closed loop. Wealth generates power. Power protects wealth. And criticism is framed as blasphemy. For ordinary Iranians, there's no path to accountability. The elite aren't just above the law. They write it, enforce it, and ignore it when convenient. This isn't a system with flaws. It's a system designed to be untouchable. They wear simple robes and preach sacrifice, yet command a $200 billion empire most oligarchs couldn't dream of. London penthouses, offshore gold, private jets to Paris, all while their people ration rice and endure blackouts. The contradiction isn't hidden. It's protected by religion, enforced by military power, and shielded by a system designed to be untouchable. How does a revolution meant to serve the oppressed end up enriching the few? Which part of this hidden wealth shocked you the most? Share your thoughts below.